Hey guys, welcome back to another daily recap. Well, I was finally able to pull off a trade in each account this week. Unfortunately, my stock market account had some technical difficulties, but I was profitable in it. As for the options account, I traded Facebook and things just went south real quick. I have no idea, why it happened, but we're gonna go ahead and jump in those trades. I'll go ahead and review, what difficulties I had in my stock market account once we review that trade and break that one down as well. So let's hop right in and see what took place. Built there at 74. And wait for this to pop up on the next 1 minute. I think the next 1 minute can't pop up. I just sold at 90. I was expecting it to, oh, well, it's probably gonna break there. I was expecting a better breakout than that. I wasn't really sure because of the 5 minute. I was buying at the bottom of the 5 minute. Like I said, this probably could break through 15, but the way it's trading here is kind of choppy. I think if it does break 15, it's gonna be very quick and then just tank. Okay, so it is a false break. So that's a good thing I sold there. Coming into Rice, I was already having problems with my internet. My platform was just lagging. It was really choppy. Every now and then it would freeze, so all this would just be frozen. My level 2, my time in sales, charts wouldn't load, things like that. Knowing all that, this is what made me very hesitant coming into the trades. I'd seen that Rice had made a really nice bull flag setup. As you're going to watch here coming up in the next 1 minute, it has a perfect 2 candle pullback and it has a huge run up as well. So it's forming a really good bull flag setup, and the only downside is the 5 minute. The 5 minute, I don't want to say it was pulling back necessarily too much, but it wasn't really holding 15. 10 minute looked really, strong. It looked pretty good to break the next or the previous 10 minute high. But like I said, it was having a hard time holding 15. This is the only thing that made me hesitant. It was holding above for a little bit, and then it was back below, then back above, back below. It didn't seem like it really wanted to push past 15. So I had seen this was a resistance level here. I had also seen that this was a resistance level here, but this was a lot stronger because it had previous candles holding this level as well as these candles. So it had a series of candles holding this level. Now I didn't want to enter in this exact area just because the 5 minute looked, pretty bad. It didn't really look as if it wanted to hold 15 at all, and as you can see, it's not holding 15. It's actually at 1480, 1470, 1490. It's just going back and forth in this range. I did not want to see it break 1450, and I didn't want to see it even come close to VWAP because then it would pull back too much. So I was waiting for this candle to, see how far it can go based on time. Once it started closing here at the 40s or 50s seconds, this is when I was going to go and take an entry. So it took one last dip. I decided to enter here. I got in at 1474, pulled into the 60s. That's all right. I had 10 more seconds before the next 1 minute open. Now my goal was for it to break over 15 and hold above 15. So when the candle opens, you see it goes to 92, 95, 97, 98, and doesn't even touch 15. It never wanted to break 15, and that was kind of the move. It never made, the final break. I could never actually get the breakthrough. And as I looked at the level 2, I had seen all these sellers stacked up. So keep a close eye right here at 1467, my bad. That's when the huge seller stacks up, and that's when the false break actually happens. It officially breaks the last 1 minute low, and from there, it just keeps going lower. Now that it broke its trend, it's pulling back way too much. The 5 minute doesn't look very good at all. The 10 minute doesn't look good either. So this is what made me, turn off to the trade, and I just decided, this one's kind of done for me, and I took my profits and ran while I could. I'm gonna wait for that 5 minute to settle down on Facebook before I take an entry. I don't know if I'll take it to the downside just because it already hit that downside resistance spot around 310. So I don't even know if this can keep going to the downside. you know, it already made the move to the downside. So the only thing I can really wait on now is just see what direction it's gonna choose out on the 30-minute and hourly. 15 minutes still looks, you know, kind of bad, but it basically hit VWAP. That still looks pretty good to the upside. So if anything, I'll wait for a small pullback. I doubt it's gonna break the low right here right away. So if anything's gonna pull back maybe to 312 or 312.50, and then we could see a pop back up. It's not gonna break a new low. I'd say I'd give it around 1250, somewhere in that area for an entry on the long side. So I just sent an order out right here to the long side at 312.54. It's kind of a big pullback, so I'm gonna wait for a, yikes, that's a big drop. See, this will keep going. Maybe I was right the first time that this is gonna be a puts position. Break at 312, I might just stop out. Like I said, I found resistance around that area, so I'm kind of sticking with it for now, but unfortunately I had to sell in this pop here, this small little pop, and I'm down, you know, 57, I think I said. I'm down a good amount today, so that kind of sucks. 54 is what I'm down. Kind of sucks because I just made all that money back last week, and yeah, I don't really know what to say about that. It's just super unfortunate, you know, that it made a move like that. I don't understand where that even came from. It was just kind of weird. So on this Facebook trade, you could see, you know, I'm already chopping a little bit. It's freezing up. It's actually not, you know, the video itself. It's actually me, you know, lagging in this entire time. So as the day progressed, it actually got even worse, but that's okay. I wasn't trading this in my stock market account, so it was just chart data that I was using. I was also using TradingView on the side, so I actually didn't really need these charts or anything, but I decided to use them anyways. And once I had seen this huge drop, my idea was to have some sort of resistance around this level. So I figured, you know, I was buying around the right time. If that wasn't the resistance spot, then this one for sure was around 1150. And I figured, you know, it wouldn't drop that low based on this huge curl that it made. I had a huge downside, you know, play, and then it curled all the way back up with no resistance, similar to how it just made the move to the downside. I did have a small pop here, small pullback, and then it dropped again. But knowing that it just, you know, couldn't break below 310 and actually held, then it moved all the way back up to 313. That made me feel a lot more comfortable, you know, buying a pullback here. I didn't think it would break the low of, I guess, 311. So I figured it wasn't going to break the low. It had a huge resistance spot here, and this was a perfect time to buy. You know, that was a decent entry. So my goal was, you know, 312.60, 312.50. That was where it's going to pull back probably at most, and then we could see a huge staircase back up. I figured it's just going to, you know, ramp up, pull back, ramp up again, and keep going. But as you saw there, it pulled back. I entered, and then it pulled back even more, and then it pulled back even more. So this just kept pulling back too much for me to feel, you know, safe. Looking at the 5 minutes, I also felt nervous because I figured if this breaks the low on the 5 minute, then I'm just done. Like, this trade's totally over. It basically double bottomed here and kind of held support around, you know, 312 a little bit. Later on, though, it ended up breaking, you know, this 5 minute candle. And same with the 10 minute. The 10 minute looked solid. It actually held support at the bottom around 310.50, and then it surged all the way back up to 313. But you know, now it's rejecting off that level pretty bad, and it just wasn't holding. Same with the 5 minute. It had a huge surge and then, you know, a huge pullback. Nothing was really holding, and that's where I felt like, okay, I need to stop out before I take an even bigger loss. I ended up stopping out a couple candles later, but like I said, this was a huge resistance spot. This is actually where I should have entered. But like I said, I thought I had the right idea coming in a little early around this level, so you know, it just didn't go my way. I later found out the reason for the drop was because of the SPY. The SPY had actually dropped pretty significantly, and you know, Facebook just dropped along with it. So I guess next time something I should keep in mind is to watch the SPY at the same time I'm trading Facebook, just to see if they, kind of trade in tandem, or just to see if there's some sort of similarity between the two. So to wrap it all up, I finished with a total of $69.54 in my stock market account, and I lost $54 in my options trading account, for a total of $15.54 on the day. Nothing significant, that's for sure. I finished up, bigger than yesterday, but yesterday was a $12 winner. So again, nothing crazy, but I think some of the things I could take away from these trades this week is, emotional control. That's one thing I am starting to lose. I have, my technical analysis, it's okay. It's not the best, but my emotional control, I'm letting that get the best of me during my trades. I notice I sell too quick sometimes, or when I hold a position too long, I tend to, get very emotional about it, and I start getting frustrated, I start getting mad, and I let the emotions start taking over, and I start, getting very aggravated in my trade and just sell for a loss and just cut the loss. So far, it's worked out like okay, some sloppy trades here and there, but I think if anything, that's the one thing I really need to work on is my emotional control behind each trade. Anyway, if you enjoy the content, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps me grow, and I'll go ahead and check you guys in tomorrow for another daily recap. See you there.